I got a sign. Hey everyone, I had a good time at Capital City Comic Con, and this isn't a special effect. I'm holding this above my head. It was now just over a week ago. I'm actually still in BC recording this, but I'm also going to be leaving for the airport in about an hour and a half. But I wanted to film something here because I wanted to share this lovely thing. I can't fit this in my luggage. It's staying here with my mom. This DSLR photo of Dangerous Zombie, it looks really good blown up to this size, and it's making me want to like take some more of my DSLR stills that I've taken that are on my Flickr page and like make prints out of those. I might try that. Anyway, it's okay. This is the misprint sign because they didn't want to have Chris Ho here. Honestly, I'm cool with it, but this was a dupe, so I'm hanging on to this for now over in Castle Vangelis on Vangelis Island. You're ludicrously large. You're gonna go over here for now. Capital City Comic Con was like the first year of a new convention run by folks who, as far as I know, haven't really run conventions of this tier before. Like, Be It Cherry Bomb has run the Ultimate Toy Fair and several other one-day events, but this was a convention with like triple stacked panels, like 8+ prestige guests, plus like, what, 30+ other guests, including myself. And as far as I know, like, no major disasters happened. There were certainly like complaints on social media, as you will get when you have a weapons check or when you have security on site who are there as part of the building rather than part of the convention. But like nothing that you won't hear from literally any other convention out there. It was astonishingly well run, and like I've said this a billion times, I'll say it here on my own vlog. I went there, and I don't know how to say this without sounding like a jerk. I went there prepared in the back of my head to say, man, you know, when X thing happened, you gotta remember it's their first show. I never had to say that about anything. I ran 3 panels, one a day, and they went pretty well. The collaborative toy review panel ended up being pretty quiet, but we had our fun. I kind of restructured it on the fly because I found like putting Iron Man into SAS poses was making most of the folks who were there watching like start laughing, so I just leaned into that for like 10 minutes. But the Why Do We Enjoy the Toy panel went great, as it always does. I gotta get the TFCon Chicago one up so I can get that cycle going of getting all these on YouTube. And the Tokusatsu panel, I had no idea if I would have an audience of people who have seen Tokusatsu or don't know what it is, and mostly it ended up being people who had seen Tokusatsu, which meant that I just kind of played some videos on the monitor behind me quietly and yammered with the crowd, and it was real fun. I'm going to try to put all of these up on YouTube, but the Tokusatsu one is definitely going to be weird because like I don't want to show any of the footage that I was playing on the monitor, because then my channel will have like just like an alien xenomorph tail spear through its back and out the front of its chest with the Bandai Toei logos on it, and I don't want that to happen. I also saw Ages 3 and Up, which is always fun. Boris is a delight, so is Jay, so is third guy. Oh, I'm terrible. Met up with my buddy Graham, Slayer's Shoop, Slayer's the Hoop of the Slayer's Shoop, from Seattle. And also hung out with him and with Chris, Skate and Shark, and with Sam Line, and that was a fun crew to have, along with everyone else who stopped by my table. My table I tried to just turn into sort of a toy collector hangout zone, because that's all I was doing when I was there. And I wasn't at my table for like half the show because I was like doing panels or getting panels ready or wanting to see the dealer room in the other building. But I did kind of get back into Pla. I was across from the Gunpla competition, and then Ages 3 and Up had the HG Gypsy Danger and the LED unit. Not the DX kit, but just those two things. And I bought those and built those during the show, and Chris let me use his liner pens. Shaver Shop had some paints for sale. I did some dry brushing. I might have bought expensive nippers, but you know, who's got money to spend on nippers? It was a real good time, and it kind of reactivated Gunpla in my head, and I want to build more. I dug up all my old, like back when I bought that Ver-Ka unicorn, I also had bought all of the, at the time, new first bunch of 00 HG kits, and I've only ever built like 3 of them, and I can't find my Tyrann. So I grabbed all the unbuilt ones, and I'm gonna bring those to Toronto with me, I think, and just have some fun with all that. I don't know how I'm going to necessarily film it, or if I'll stream any of it, but doing the lining stuff and then like doing some weathering, dry brushing, at least on Gypsy Avenger, and you know all the top coats. I don't know, it was very satisfying. So, I'll be back in the saddle soon, I hope. Review 400 is up, as is its promo, and hopefully you've checked those out. I still have one more hurdle out, or there's two major hurdles, really, I want to bump over still. One of them is V-Build 100, which is weird, and I meant to have that put together like a year ago, and every time I look at it, I get daunted. So I'm going to see if I can undaunt and headbutt my way through it. But either way, I also hope that I can get like the review train going now that I've gotten that 400 one done, which was actually like 622 on the playlist. And the other big hurdle is all the stuff I shot in the YouTube space in 2016 that I haven't cut together, and I still want to cut it together. It's the YouTube space Tioku stuff I'd shot with a couple friends of mine. I just want to put those things together. I'm going to put them up unlisted, show them to my friends, see if they still like them, and then maybe I'll just dump them all out and hopefully do some more new stuff with the YouTube space and all that. Like, it's, to me, one of the big things about the YouTube space is that's a place where I feel like I can in a more like fun and fulfilling way talk about like Kamen Rider roleplay toys, where at home I could just like film them and say what they do, and for some reason I find that tremendously boring. Not as a form of video, I watch plenty of those, but as far as doing it myself, I just don't feel very inspired. Whereas at the YouTube space, I don't have to do like, you know, crazy special effect sequences, but like there's enough room there where I can stand there with someone else who's interested in these things and like talk about them, show some good B-roll of them, but have more of like a conversation about them, since like, I don't know, roleplay toys are not different than normal toys, but I feel like there's a very specific kinds of criteria about them that set them apart, where it's weirder to sit there talking about, you know, the efficacy of the sculpt of this roleplay sword, when we all know roleplay swords are going to be small, unless they're like a whatever you call it, you know, adult-oriented collectible, like the Legacy Power Sword or whatever. Had a little hiccup. Oh, a little hiccup. But just as I'm saying I want to get back into doing just like regular review stuff, it's also almost April 1st and I have had ideas. So I might do those first, because April the 1st is on the weekend. And I want to actually do something this time because I have solid ideas. Multiple solid ideas. People probably gonna get annoyed, but, you know, let me have this. Other little things are I want to start messing with my end card and changing it up a bit, maybe simplifying it slightly, but I also want to make room on it to talk about folks who are supporting me on Patreon and on Ko-fi. I've had 3 folks support me on Ko-fi, and one of them was anonymous, and I can't actually remember who that was. So I want to give shouts out, at least to the Ko-fi folks, since those were weeks, if not a couple months ago, and I feel really bad that those went uncredited. And then as for patrons, I want to figure out a spot on the end card for patrons to go. So that's some of the stuff flowing through my head right now. The stuff more importantly flowing through my head is that I need to pack these lights to take back home with me, and I gotta pack all my stuff. I got a decent little convention haul. You know, I got HG Gypsy Danger. I got Unrustable Bastards Otomo. I got that very expensive Drift by Chemical Attack, because I love Chemical Attack. And I also picked up Mastermind Creations Nitro, who I was pretty sure that, like, I saw Nitro go up, and I was like, yeah, Nitro will be out. And then I kind of saw Nitro stop being around, and I was like, did Nitro end up being, like, a PSX exclusive? What happened? And then I saw Nitro was for sale at A3U, so I thought, you know, I'm just gonna buy one here and deal with this. And boy, Nitro is cool. You know, spoilers for whatever review it is, but all my comments about how, like, I was gonna say Catamus. I can't remember Mastermind Creations Rodimus's name anymore. But in the review for him, I talked about how I felt like he needed more color breakup. His redecos already had that, and whenever I film those, I'll talk about that. But Nitro has that in spades all over her body, plus remolded parts. It looks like she wears the body as though it's actually hers, and Rodimus was wearing it as though he was the retool in a way. I'm really down with Nitro. She is cool. Like, the only problem I have with her is that katunk on the hips, and I don't know. I'll open them up or something, see if I can tweak it. I also saw Pacific Rim Uprising twice. Once with my mom, once with some folks, and I have thoughts about it, and I feel like they're complicated, because whenever I try to give capsule thoughts on it, it's weird, because I feel like I don't think I can just say, like, best movie of the year, because it wasn't. I had plenty of problems with it, but I feel like when I say I have plenty of problems with it, people are going to be like, so you also think it was Drek, and it's like, no, I don't. But I need to like, I don't know, make some notes or something. I'd like to talk about it in a dedicated vlog, because it was an interesting film to take in, and despite everything I just said, it actually makes me really want to see John Boyega produce a third one, specifically because I think that the fight choreography he brought with him was very important, and also he went to Japan and bought a friggin' giant gunpla, and I'm like, can someone please show him some Gao Gaigar, or get him in touch with Finn from the cast of Stranger Things, and get those two boys to watch some Gurren Lagann together, because we need some Super Robot, and we need some core Super Robot on the big screens. Stat. Ready Player One doesn't count. Anyway, I've probably got to close this up and pack things up, and I feel like I'm rambling for the sake of rambling, but I want to, like, I don't know, I want to think of something for us all to consider at the end of this and maybe comment about. I've been having a lot of fun doing these Why Do We Enjoy the Toy panels, and I want to keep doing them. I'm going to try to submit the panel to Con Bravo for this year, and I want to come up with a "there's something in my eye" version of it that I could maybe have a couple other YouTube toy talkers on with if they're at TFCon, for like a version 2 at TFCons for this year to pitch. But with that in mind, if you have checked out those panels, this is for you. If you haven't checked them out, the very first one is on my channel, and you can check it out. It's Why Do We Enjoy the Toy at TFCon 2017 in Toronto. So I want to know, like, what are some subjective qualities about toys, and what are some collector types that you feel might have been missed? I'll say, like, I've added some since that first panel, and I've had some suggested to me in the 2 versions of the panel following that one. But don't worry about that. It just means I might say, yeah, someone brought that up. Why do we enjoy the toy? What are some subjective qualities of toys, and what are some collector types? Not... Okay, I'm gonna keep rambling here. Collector type does not mean someone is that collector type, but collector types, I guess it's more like collector bullet points, like ones you could apply to oneself, where you could have one of them, or you could have like 8 of them. But what are some of those, and what are some subjective qualities of toys? And that means like something that you can really dig into, and that is going to be personal to the collector in question. I'm in that panel, in doing that panel, I've become even more disengaged from the notion of objective toy qualities, because aside from a toy like literally disintegrating or giving you chemical burns from touching it, I don't believe there are any objective toy qualities worth discussing. I've had it presented to me before where it's like, well, what if a toy is just bad? And it's like, that would be you thinking it's bad due to an assembly of subjective qualities. So let's dissect what those are. So that's what I'm talking about. Let's, I don't know, if you have any in mind, tell me some subjective qualities, tell me some collector bullet points. Is collector phenotype the right word? I don't have, I usually look up words like phenotype. I can't. My phone's, it's over there. But, you know, those bullet points you could apply to oneself as a collector. List some of that stuff out for me if you like. And I'm just doing this because I feel like people like it if a vlog has a sort of engagement at the end, other than me making direct eye contact and not letting go of it while I tell you to something, push the buttons and ring the cow and make sure you stay tuned because fudging fart crackers or whatever I said a year or 2 ago. Whatever it is I do while maintaining obscenely tight eye contact with the camera, have a good day, and please stay safe so that we can talk again about toys later on. Hi, I shot that a couple days ago, and then I flew, and that flight didn't go well. That was a very crowded red-eye flight, and I am extremely tired, and it took me until today to kind of recover. And it's the end of March, so I got that vlog put up with, like, minutes to spare. Now it's April 1st, isn't it? Well, we'll find out, won't we?